watching a continuous coverage on the situation which is unfolding in Nepal. I'm Swati Joshi. The Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has resigned in the face of a massive anti-government protest that rocked the entire country. KP Sharma Oli stepped down shortly after hundreds of demonstrators entered his office shouting anti-government slogans. Hours before his resignation, the demonstrators set on fire the Nepalese leader's private residence in Balkot, demanding accountability for Monday's fatalities. Remember, at least 19 people were killed during the violent protests on Monday against the government's ban on social media sites. All right, we're getting some breaking inputs now amid protests and after stepping down as Prime Minister, KP Oli seen leaving chopper. So KP Sharma Oli, remember, has resigned as the Prime Minister of Nepal. That happened just a short while ago. He sent his resignation to the President of Nepal. And now there are visuals coming in of KP Sharma Oli fleeing in an army chopper. We have Priyank getting us more details on that. Any information on where he is heading? At the moment, we just have visuals of him entering the army chopper.
Swati, the information is certainly something which is coming at a very slow speed, and it is through sources. That's why we are, maintaining so much of restraint in releasing this information before airing it. What we can tell you to our viewers that there were 3 choppers, 2 private, 1 army chopper which was spotted right above the residence of KP Sharma Oli in Kathmandu, and later to that we saw that his visuals has also come up, which shows that he is leaving, and the people are chanting that see, Oli is leaving the country. So that is clearly suggesting about the fact that he could have left or attempted to leave the country, knowing the fact that there was a Thai Airlines private aircraft, the Boeing aircraft, which was also spotted in the air near the Kathmandu International Airport, which was suggesting that most of the members of the cabinet and the MPs could have also fled away from the country. I've been trying to get in touch with these MPs, but none of their mobile handsets are on, which means that they are either on the flight mode or they have been switched off. The basic fact is that the information officers, the IB minister's residence was also attacked soon after the private residence of Oli was attacked by the angry protesters. This is certainly which was calculated yesterday by the state government, knowing the fact that the only lifting of the ban could not have been enough because there were 19 protesters who lost their life in the police action, and that is the reason because of which the ministers and the cabinet ministers and the MPs throughout the day till now have been putting their resignation. And just a short while back, around half an hour back, we got to know that Oli has also put forward his resignation, and he has stated, right, you were also quoting, that he wants these
first news came in of the top ministers quitting, top ministers tendering their resignation, and then the Prime Minister of Nepal stepped down as well. We have some inside details coming in on the broadcast on the exit of KP Sharma Oli. KP Sharma Oli spoke to Prachand and Shekhar Koirala. That's what we're given to understand, and both asked him to step down. Koirala's Nepali Congress was in alliance with KP Sharma Oli, and he threatened Oli with no confidence motion, after which KP Sharma Oli tendered his resignation. Let's go across to Rishabh, who's joining us on the broadcast with more details. Rishabh, we're given to understand that there was pressure mounted on KP Sharma Oli, after which he has tendered his resignation and stepped down as the Prime Minister.
Well, what we're given to understand that KP Sharma Oli, in last bid to ensure that things politically at least get sorted out, if not the protests, and he called up Prachand as well as Shekhar Koirala. Shekhar Koirala heads this Nepali Congress, which is alliance partners, which were alliance partners with Oli in the government. Both Koirala and Prachand told him to resign, otherwise they will bring in no confidence motion in Parliament. Koirala also told him that if you do not resign in another 1.5 hours, we will send a official letter to the president, officially and formally withdrawing our support from your government. Also, what we are given to understand that while Oli was trying to get in touch with the ministers of his cabinet, most of the ministers did not even respond to the Prime Minister's call, and that is when Oli realized that things are over, and he tendered his resignation to the president. So in a way, Oli was actually pressurized to resign. He was in no mood to resign. His close aides, who we were talking to since morning, were very clear that Oli is looking at a political solution to this. He will not resign. But now he has resigned, and as a senior colleague Priyanka Tripathi was putting out in detail that how he fled his residence in an army chopper. So Oli has resigned, succumbed to the pressure from the alliance partner as well as opposition, and Oli also feared that if things do not go as planned, Nepali Congress and Prachand might come together and form government, ousting him from power, and then A, he will not have power, B, he will have an anti-government, and then it will be more difficult for him to continue in the politics of Nepal, and hence he decided to step down.
And meanwhile, as we speak, we're getting more visuals now. Remember, we're given to understand that the private residence of KP Sharma Oli came under attack by the protesters who also set the parliament of Nepal on fire. We also have Priyank with us. Priyank, what happens now? Who takes over? What happens to bringing stability back? Because KP Sharma Oli in the resignation letter says for political solutions, for problem solving, this is an initiative that is being taken of him stepping down as the Prime Minister with immediate effect. He's resigned with immediate effect.
So I think the larger pattern need to be seen, because what the opposition party leaders were telling it to us yesterday to the Times at Work, that the government allegation that the political parties have infiltrated in the protesters is certainly not true. Although the government had, then sources have been sharing the Discord messages which was suggesting that there was a massive mobilization which was being made through the VPN, and it was stated that these protesters should mobilize to different locations. And in fact, the method to make a monologue cocktail was also being circulated on social media platform. So that could have been done from the government behest to stop and paint these protesters as political party leaders. But if you look at the kind of incidences which happened throughout the day, where the private residence of the OP Sharma Oli was attacked by these protesters, then the IMD minister's house was also vandalized, and then after that parliament was also attacked. So if the protesters actually wanted to have faith in the parliament, they would have never attempted to burn down the parliament, which actually happened. So now the speculation among those experts who have been observing Nepal and the politics of Nepal over the period of many years have been calculating that there is no possibility that it cannot be denied that the rule, the monarchies being the king's influential people could also be behind this protest, because the attack on the parliament is certainly suggesting that this was an attack on the democratically formed government which has been there for almost 2 decades. Since 16 years they have been there in the power, and that is certainly something which is creating more speculation that whether these protesters were only Gen Zs or these protesters were backed by some political motive. So now the attack on the parliament has totally changed the dynamics of the speculation that who these protesters were. Now we know it for the fact that 19 people have lost their life on the government action, and Oli resigning from his post is clearly suggesting that he knew it from the few hours that no one is going to stop. The attack will be certainly there on the life of the MPs, the ministers, and the Prime Minister himself. That's why it is very important for them to leave to a safer location till the time the country's situation can be normalized. We have seen in the past that how the monarchies, families have also been attacked. Swati, we should not disagree from the fact that the violence of the politics of Nepal has been so much dominating that loss of life had...
Yes, and the Bangladesh pattern can be witnessed in Nepal as well. Bangladesh playbook in Nepal. We're getting some breaking inputs. We're given to understand Nepal's finance minister is also seen running on the streets while people were seen chasing him. These are the inside details that we're getting for you. Those are the visuals on your screens. That's the latest. Nepal's finance minister, as per reports coming in, can be seen in the video running on the streets with people chasing after him. We'll also try and get our reporters to confirm this and more information on this. This is a video that has now emerged. Priyank, there's a video which has now surfaced that we are playing out here on Times Now, and according to the details that are coming to fore, in the visuals, Nepal's finance minister can be seen running on the streets and is being chased by people.
Yes, this is a social media post which has been posted by one of the residents in Nepal, and Swati, what we can see that the minister who's wearing a jacket was being pushed, he was kicked, and then he was pinned down on the ground while one of the protesters is attempting to take him, while the minister is attempting to flee away from the location. There are other visuals also which are coming, which is very horrific, that how these protesters had managed to barge inside the private residence of these individuals. So the mob is certainly clueless. The mob is certainly directionless. They exactly don't know what they have to do. Because if you see that initial demand was painted.
Let's just focus a little bit more on the video. Priyank, so you're saying this is Nepal's finance minister, as per reports, Bishnu Paudel, who was attacked by the protesters. Some tried catching hold of him when he tried to escape. In the video, it's evident, it's visible how a person out of nowhere kicks him and throws him on the ground, and then there's another individual part of the protest who's trying to save the finance minister of Nepal, which is Bishnu Paudel. Right there in the visuals, somehow he manages to escape. That's Bishnu Paudel, finance minister of Nepal. Yes, Priyank.
Yes, this is what we are trying to tell you to our viewers, that the situation is becoming very volatile. Starting from the attack on the residence, private residence of the Prime Minister Oli, then continuing to protest on the street, then attacking on the parliament, and then the ministers in the cabinet being chased by the protesters, beaten up right in the middle of the road, and the mob attacking them is certainly showing the violent nature of the crowd. We know it for the fact that these Gen Z protesters came on the streets demanding that the social media platform ban should be uplifted, trying to portray that there is a possibility that the government is trying to muzzle their voices. The government came into picture, and the government stated that these platforms were not agreeing to the demand and the norms which have been there by the Nepal government side. But look what is happening on the ground. The parliament being attacked is certainly showing that the attack was not because of the ban on the social media. The parliament attack is clearly showing that the attack was on the democratically formed government which is there in Nepal, and certainly Oli would have failed in corruption, Oli would have failed in bringing jobs into the country. But these kind of a pattern of attack which is leading right from the street to the houses, then to the parliament, is certainly suggesting that the attack is on the democracy of Nepal, not on the present regime which was there into picture. So the government's point of view, which was coming yesterday, that the role of the monarchy could be there, is certainly something which the Nepalis will have to find out. They'll have to investigate in further. But the social media VPN apps being used for circulation of these messages, which is certainly mobilizing people from the streets to the airport, is certainly coming under the ambit of other countries also, because Nepal being a neighboring state and country, and the porous border is certainly something which is a major concern for India. Last night we saw from our colleagues have been reporting from Kishanganj side that there have been massive mobilization of the forces from the Indian side, so that any kind of further invasion from or the infiltration, I beg your pardon, from these Nepalese should be stopped, knowing the fact that there could be a bad element who will try to come and take shelter in India, knowing the fact that they also have relatives here. So multiple things coming to our neighboring country is certainly going to be an important factor which India need to look into. For the benefit of our viewers, there is a breaking input which we have been releasing, that the Prime Minister of Nepal has resigned. There have been attack on the parliament. What is going to happen in the few hours from now in Nepal is certainly not to be, no one is able to calculate it, because every possible location which could have been the temple of democracy, which could have provided more developmental thing in Nepal, is being attacked, vandalized and broken and burned down by these protesters who are freely roaming on the streets. What we also know that this resignation of the Prime Minister has also come up after he met the army chief. The army chief of Nepal had briefed him that till the time you resign, it is difficult for us to control the situation because no further casualty can be accepted on the ground. Already 19 people have lost their life, and the army is certainly not in the position to gun down more protesters. The only way to control the situation is to be peaceful, try to control them as much as the less power can be used to stop these protesters, because the spread of the information of 19 protesters being shot down has not been taken into so much positive manner.
In fact, appeals are now being made. And if we also have Rishabh on the broadcast, we can go across to him as well. Rishabh, appeals being made by the security agencies in Nepal, by the Nepalese army chief as well, asking the protesters to come forward for a dialogue, to look for peaceful resolution through political dialogue.
Well, Swati, this was another trigger point for KP Sharma Oli to resign. Army said that we are not comfortable forcefully, stopping this or suppressing this protest, and we are not going to open fire at them at any cost now. We have lost 19 lives yesterday, and that has further fueled this protest turning into violence. And Army is in no position now to forcefully suppress this very protest any further. And that's when KP Sharma Oli understood that politically, militarily, there is no one to support him, and he resigned. Now Army chief is very clear. He is asking the leaders.
All right, Rishabh and Priyal, stay on with us. We have more breaking inputs coming in. In fact, more visuals coming to fore now of the protesters holding weapons in their hands and marching on the streets with the Nepalese flag around their necks. They are holding these weapons. We don't know if it belongs to them or if they've snatched these weapons, these rifles, from the security personnel, but it is getting dangerous now on the streets of Kathmandu. KP Sharma Oli has stepped down as the Prime Minister. Instability, chaos unfolding on the streets of Nepal. Let's go back to our reporters, to Priyank. Exclusive visuals on the screens at the moment. Protesters holding rifles. We don't know if it belongs to them. How did they manage to access that? Or if they've snatched that from security personnel, from army personnel.
Yes, certainly, Swati, but before that, there is one information which I would like to share to viewers, that this is a man, Balin. This is what I'm getting to know from our sources, that Balin is certainly something whose name is being opposed. If you can zoom in. Balin is the name. He is a very influential, socially very influential among the Gen Zs, and his name is coming up as the top person whose name could be put forward for the next Prime Minister of Nepal. While talking about the visuals which you are talking about, certainly these kind of development which is coming out, where the violence visuals are coming out, we are trying to get in touch with Balin so that we can know that what is his side of the story, because his name being pushed by the Gen Zs is certainly an important development which is happening in the political turmoil in Nepal.
Right. So what is being said about Balendra? He, I believe, is Balendra Shah, Kathmandu mayor. And like you said, many are already speculating that Balendra Shah, Kathmandu mayor, might become Nepal's next prime minister. What is his role? Did he play an important role in the uprising that was being witnessed? Was he the one, asking the youth, the so-called Gen Zs, to hit the streets, to protest in this manner?
See, Swati, let's go back to, I beg your pardon, what has been happening since a week. There is a social media hashtag which started in Nepal. That hashtag was certainly related to one of the minister's daughter who won a beauty pageant, and there was a good amount of money which was given to her, and that money was supposed to be given into the federation. The money did not go to the federation, and the kind of nepotism which is being alleged by the political party leaders, which is certainly suggesting that these ministers were only pushing forward their children, making their children more economically sound, is something which was spoken on the social media platform. After these unemployment, the kind of the corruption which is there in Nepal, the protesters, all these Gen Zs, started talking about these Nepo kids, the kids from the political party side, so that they can feel that their voices being heard, and they used to, talk to each other on the social media platform. The situation went worse 5 days back, when the government came up with a notification that 26 social media platforms will be banned. That led to the protest which started yesterday, and now what we know, where we are standing right now, that within 48 hours of time period, 19 people have lost their life on government record, and the Prime Minister has resigned.
It cannot be just about a ban on social media and just a protest against corruption. This is much more than that. The Bangladesh playbook in Nepal, as experts are calling it. Priyanka and Rishabh, stay on with us. A very quick break on the broadcast. We'll be back with more updates.